everyone, Jamie here. Welcome to Family Yoga. Today we are doing a special class where you don't even need to leave your seat. So if you are sitting at your desk and you happen to see this video, you don't even need to move. When you're ready, please go ahead and find your way sitting on a chair. So what I'd like to do today is to first make sure that your chair doesn't have wheels. If it does have wheels, just be really mindful that some of the postures may not be ideal for a moving chair. We'll start off seated. We'll have one hand on our heart, one hand on our belly. And we'll begin with a little bit of deep breathing. As you breathe in through your nose, you should feel your bottom hand, your belly expand. As you exhale, your belly deflates, air comes out. Let's try that again. Breathe in through your nose. Feel the belly expand in all directions, not even forward, but also to the sides. As you exhale, let it all out. Sometimes I even add a purposeful sigh, a sigh of relief. Let's try that once more. As you breathe in, take this time to set your intention for practice today. What does that look like for you? Are you looking to feel a certain way after we stretch together? Are you looking to bring focus to any particular part of your day? As you exhale, go ahead and let it all out. All right, friends, please go ahead and have a seat. Let's make sure that you're at the edge of your seat so that your feet are flat on the floor. If you are what I like to call vertically challenged, then what I would recommend doing is, let's say you're sitting at the edge of your seat and your feet are still not on the floor. That's okay. Maybe you can grab some books or some blocks, something that you can prop your feet on so that you're stable. We want to feel stable. So please go ahead and grab whatever prop you think you might need. If at the edge of your seat, your feet aren't firmly flat on the floor. Let's begin. We'll take your left ankle, you'll place it above the right knee. This is a figure 4 stretch. Now, the best part about doing this stretch, besides that we're sitting down at our chair, is that we're able to feel our hip open up. When I say hip, in this case, it's the outer glute. Now, if you say to me, Jamie, I think I want to intensify this stretch, what you might do is lean your body more forward, and you should feel the increase in stretch at the side of your hip. Now listen up, if this feels awkward in any way, especially on the knee, then you might stay right here, maybe even lean back a bit. So listen to your body, assess to see what feels right in this particular stretch. Again, outer hip opening, leaning forward, and using the same breath technique we did at the beginning of our practice. When we breathe deeply with any of the stretches, it tells our body to calm down. And when our body is calm, it's receptive to change. And this is a positive change. So allow yourself to stay here. On average, we hold our stretches for 30 seconds to a minute. Of course, that's not a hard rule. If you want to hold here longer, do so. But I wouldn't recommend going too much shorter so that you can gain the benefit of what we're stretching. Okay, let's go ahead and work our way to the other side. We're going to take the opposite ankle, so now right ankle above the left knee. And you can say, well, maybe this side I feel more open, and you may feel more compelled to lean further forward. On that same note, it might feel the opposite, it might feel way harder. So we listen to our body, not just legs and arms, but even each side. How does it feel? Do they feel differently than each other? So let's say I do want to increase the stretch. I will lean my body forward. Feel that stretch on the outer hip. And that's why it's so important to be stable on that bottom floor. Imagine if my foot were not on the floor, it wouldn't feel as safe. And if you have a chair and you also have a desk in front of you, you can even use the desk as support. Again, I do not recommend a chair with wheels. Some of these chairs nowadays have locks on them. You can lock the wheel. But again, stability is key. It's just like being on the floor versus like bouncy balls, right? We want to feel stable so that when we move, we can move with confidence. From here, friends, Let's go ahead and slowly work our way back. Do we feel that difference? When we're here, do you feel the less intensity? We like that. If you lean further back, do you still feel a stretch at all? So ask yourself these questions as you embark on these different types of stretches, and that will allow you to get to know your physical self a little better with each practice. All right, friends, from here, let's go ahead and take this to another chair stretch. I'm going to stand on up and turn towards my chair. What I'd like to do here is you can take this so that your hands are either on the handlebars if your chair is like mine, or you can even have your hands right atop of the seat. I'll bring my feet back, and this is going to mimic the downward facing dog. Now, let me tell you why I love this stretch. The reason why I love a modified downward dog, just like this, is for my friends who identify with having really sensitive wrists. Sometimes being in plank doesn't feel awesome on the wrist, especially if you've been using them all day. Like you've been typing, maybe you've been doing something physical. So for whatever reason, you feel that way in your wrist. This downward facing dog allows you to get the same benefits. You get the hamstrings to open, the shoulders to open, the chest too. So give yourself time here to breathe. You might find that because we take pressure away from the wrist, you can stay here longer and reap the benefits. Take those breaths nice and deep. Inhale through your nose. Exhale it out. Inhale through your nose. Exhale it all out. Let's take it to one more big breath. Inhale. And exhale it out. On this next breath, we'll work our way back to the chair. Let's take the left foot on top of the chair. And what I'm doing here is taking this to a hip flexor stretch. When I say hip flexor, that's going to refer to the front of my hip. Now, as I push my hips forward and I feel this hip opener, a question that you might ask is, well, Jamie, how is this different than doing it on the floor? Well, let's examine why. When we're here with assistance, we might find that we like using the chair because the chair is closer to our body. We don't have to reach towards the floor. And some of you might identify with this, that sometimes reaching down towards the floor, it feels like more work than it should. And so because of that, we bring the floor to us. So we drive our hips forward and we do what's called hip extension. And when we do that movement, that allows our hip flexors to stretch, to open, to do the opposite of sitting down. When we sit down for a really long time, our hips can get tired. All hips, the front, the side. So we use this time and we allow ourselves to stretch without as much impact on the back knee or having to reach towards the floor. Okay, let's have some fun with this. My hands are on my handlebars. If you have a chair that doesn't have an armrest, you can keep your hands right at your sides. From here, I'd like you to straighten that front left leg. Hamstring stretch. Now let's take a moment to see what the front foot is doing. By pulling the toes back, that's going to allow the calves to open. That is my preference for you, that you can get more stretching done versus less with the same amount of time. But if you say to me, Jamie, when I pull my toes back, this is infinitely harder, well, maybe today you don't do it. I want you to feel successful with every stretch that we do, and even if that means scaling, especially if it means scaling. So we feel the hamstrings open and we have support. I do want to show you something, that as I lean towards you, this is going to make the stretch really less defined in what I'm looking for. So I would like you to square your hips towards the chair as you pull back. It's going to allow you good symmetry. Okay, friends, stay here as long as you'd like, but if you're ready, we are going to switch to the other side. I'd like to slide that hip forward and we're going to take it back. Now we'll take the right foot on the chair. Same thing, pushing the hip forward. You might say to me, Jamie, well, wait, this side, I'm more open. I want more. If you want more, you'll take that corresponding hand. So if your left foot is back, it's your left arm that reaches up, and we lean all the way off to the side. So you do have options, not just to decrease a given stretch, but to increase as well. And it's not always going to be always intensifying or always modifying. The key is knowing that your body will have its own strengths and not so strengths or weaknesses. And by listening to our body, we're able to scale appropriately. So stay here, feel the hip open, squaring the hips forward. Maybe you're using the armrest, maybe you're using the bottom of the chair, and that's going to be like your new floor. Do you remember that? Okay, friends. From here, we'll slowly straighten that front leg. Hello, hamstrings on that front leg. So we talked about hamstrings a couple times already. We felt it first when we were doing the modified downward dog. What I'm hoping you feel is by doing this variation, it feels a little different, maybe more isolated to one leg, and because of that, focused so that you can feel significant change. And again, when we're doing stretches like this, you shouldn't feel as if it's so uncomfortable that you can't wait for it to be over. If that's what you're saying to yourself, then I would stretch a little less deeply. I maybe would bend my knee a little to give myself some leeway to feel good while in this stretch. Again, if you want to intensify, you're going to pull that front toe back. And again, no two sides are going to feel it the exact same way, even though we do the exact same stretch. All right, friends, let's go ahead and work our way back into that lunge. And we work our way back. Let's go ahead and have a seat again. Okay, while we're here, friends, this is what we'll take it to next. From here, we want to use the chair as a means of just support, like you would sitting at your desk. If you have a desk in front of you, you might even be able to use the front. What I like to do is use my thighs instead as we open up our back. Sometimes you might find that in the middle of your day or even in the middle of a meeting, you just want a quick stretch. You want a quick relief. How can we do that? Let's start by inhaling. Open our heart forward. You might feel the stretch in the abdominals, maybe even the neck. For my friends with sensitive neck, maybe you're not looking far back. Exhale, round. Let's come on back to center. Another way to find relief while sitting. Inhale the arms up. On this exhale, we're going to turn towards our left, a gentle twist. Now this twist is all for the range of motion to feel the stretch. This back arm may even go further back. What's available? Let's take it to the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, off towards the right side. Maybe you're holding, or maybe it's simply behind your back. Modifications are all welcome here. Let's inhale, the arms up, and exhale, hands down. What else can we do here while sitting down? We'll take it to some neck strengthening exercises. Let's pull that chin back. It's like creating a double chin. And go ahead and release. When I say chin tuck, I don't necessarily mean chin tuck to chest. Not really. For this strengthening of the neck, I'd like you to pull the chin back. Double chin. That's what we're looking for. And release. Let's do that one more time. Chin tucked. And we release. How can we find relief for our neck? Let's go ahead and take this left ear to the left shoulder. You can stay where you're at. I'm going to show you the distance between my ear and shoulder to create that stretch. And we slowly come on back to center. Let's switch to the other side. You can simply hold here. Maybe you add intensity. All of this can be done while sitting at your desk. Let's go ahead and take it back to center. Friends, let's take this to one more big inhale, arms up overhead. Stretch as much as you can. And as you exhale, let it all out. Thank you all so much for joining me today for Family Yoga, the Chair Edition. I hope to see you all next time. Bye-bye.